Hey, more morning, everybody. Good morning. Okay, quick sound check for everybody out there. If you can hear me, please throw up a Y. So I know. Last thing I want to do is be talking for the next 45 minutes and no one can hear me. Awesome, thank you. JT, howdy to you. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get this thing going. I've got all my stuff up there. This is not financial advice. Disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. The information on this channel is provided for education, informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. Pause the stream, read this. That way you know for sure. I am not a financial advisor. This is education purposes and entertainment only. Awesome. We got that out of the way. So in discussions yesterday with somebody, I made this little checklist for them in one of my one-on-one sessions, and I wanted to just throw it up there for you all. You know, I'm going to kind of leave it up there for a second. If you want to pause the video, grab this. You can. Basically just describing what your weekly or what your daily process could be on any given day, looking at any given pair. As you're going through what to look for, you know, how many weeks of breakouts, some questions to be asking yourself, how many days of breakouts. That's obviously one of the setups, 3 days of breakouts, X, Y, and Z. Where's the last peak formation? You know, how many levels of rise do I have? Do I have a signal day yesterday? Fridays, high and low, where's that at? Especially if you're on a Monday. If you're breaking out on a Monday, definitely paying attention to last week's, you know, high and low, opening range, high and low, Monday, initial balance. You know, are we in a breakout pullback sort of template? Are we making higher highs, lower lows, things like that? And then I just kind of simplified that down to some questions. So if you want to grab this, you can. It's there. Awesome. Might help you out with, you know, as you're going through your day-to-day and you're practicing, figuring out what to put up on the screen. This is a great little checklist for you. I know it's not exactly the prettiest thing you've ever seen, but it's there. Cool. So that brings us to looking at, you know, this week, and I've left all my annotations up for this week because as we've been going through, I think it's been nice to start out the week with you all at the beginning of this week with my annotations up there, and then seeing how the week has progressed, how the template has been building. So, you know, Thursday, Friday, peak formation high and low from last week, inside day on Thursday. This is the NASDAQ, by the way. That progressing into day one of breakouts on Monday, day 3 of the cycle, breaking out of Friday's high. Then we had a basically a day 1 of the cycle, but we didn't know it was going to be day 1 until yesterday, Wednesday. But that was day 2 of breakouts to the upside. And then yesterday was day 1 of breakouts, now back down towards the downside. And that made this day 1 of the 3-day cycle day 2, and then now giving us today, which is day 3 of the 3-day cycle. Peak formation at the high of the week. We've traded back down. I had these inside bar trader stops still labeled from last Friday, and we have came down and got them, stopped them out. So that's good to see. Now looking at for today, it's day 3 of the cycle. We had a day 1 breakouts yesterday. We've broken out today as well. You can see the peak formation that was made at the low of the day, and we've been pumping back up towards, I think, close of yesterday as well as previous day's low. So again, I don't really know what exactly is going to happen today, but what I do know is I have 1 day of breakouts to the downside and a breakout of yesterday's low. So that's really all I've got for this pair. I don't have a signal day yesterday. Let's see, I had this. This was supposed to be over here, so I'm going to make this a bit smaller. All right, heartbeat pattern, peak formation high, peak formation low. That was for this day right here. And then now we're starting a new 3-day template. Whether or not this day 3 will eventuate into anything, or if I need to just wait for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, no idea. But we do have news at 8:30, which is why I'm starting the stream a little bit early. Hey, Blaze, good morning to you, Paulie, as well. US 30 is, holy cow. So I've restarted my breakout count because last week we had, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But this week itself, just looking at this week alone, we've got 1 day, 2 days, now 3 days of breakouts to the downside. And I think we are, if I'm not mistaken, 2,000 pips down from peak formation high last week. Does that mean I'm looking for a reversal? No. I would need to see a higher high on the inside and, some progression of the weekly template in order for me to take a reversal trade on this. This is a very strongly trending directional move, probably expanding a range somewhere. I am not going to catch the knife. So I am just going to wait for this to set up the rest of the way. If it provides any more setups, awesome. But as of right now, really nothing exploding in my direction as far as looking for a certain template. We do have 3 pushes outside of the opening range. So if we get volume trapped down here, on the 3rd day of breakouts, maybe. But it's going to need to set up a little bit more for me to actually decide that this is a trading opportunity. Can you show what level of higher high you'd need? Yeah, so this consolidation, or if they were to pop back up here and pull back in, but the lower low, here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Lower lows and higher high, so low of day. This is a low right here. So they have sort of put in a higher high right here, but it's not exactly the most significant one I've ever seen. And honestly, in a down moving market like this, I'm not going to even use that. The reason I said that is because this is they're breaking down. 2 candles of pullback. They've closed lower, giving that as a higher high, maybe a dump and pump opportunity. Again, I'm not going to sit here and try and guess. I just know I have 3 days of breakouts on this, and if it does present, in fact, you know what? Who's that? TR. Let's show you. I'm going to show you this. Oil. All right. Lower lows and lower highs. 720 this morning. I said maybe this is going to be a short squeeze, but it was set up for a short squeeze at 720 this morning. That was a setup, but it's too early, obviously. But this type of pattern where they've triggered previous day's low and curled and went lower and then spiked up. That spike up, that 1, 2, 3, is a good break-in structure for a short squeeze setup. So if this happened at a different time of day, this would be a setup that I would be looking for. 1, 2, 3 to the low, down, up, down, engulfment, pin hammer. Like, this is a good short squeeze setup, even if it's just for a scalp. Don't look at anything else, all right? We'll just do this, all right? So if we had something like this, consolidation, lower low, spike to high, pulls back, 1, 2, 3, higher low, that would be like a good pattern for me to look for over here, right? But you really need that aggressive curl and spike and then the 3 candles down at a certain time of day as well. I'm really huge into, time of day and things. So I'm going to move on from US 30. Let's look at gold. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. So day 1, 3-day cycle on Friday, first green day. And that started the pump for the dump and pump template. 1, 2, 3. Day 1 of breakouts on Monday. Day 2 of the cycle. Day 2 of breakouts on Wednesday. That was the 3rd push to the high. Consolidation, breakout. Breakout may have failed. At the close of yesterday, Wednesday, that restarts the cycle. So day 1, day 2. We also have day 1 of breakouts now back down to the downside, and that gives us day 3 of the cycle today. We're back down. I've got my previous week's low down there. We've triggered that as well. And again, I really have no strong opinions whatsoever. I need to let the rest of the day continue to set up as far as what to look for and things like that. But day 1 Breakouts to the downside, day 3, 3-day cycle, and it is Thursday, day 2, or day 2 of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay. Also, let me get the 100 pip box up there. There we go. So we've been in a peak formation low, 1, 2, 3. So we're in a 300 pip box. The peak formation low was made at double zeros right here. They've gone up 3 levels of rise, put in a peak formation high, and now we've gotten back down. We've made a lower low. So now we pumped it back up from this lower low peak formation. Where are we at? Help. There we go. I think that's 50 pips outside the range. So 1, 2, 3. They've gone higher. So maybe it's in increments of 50. So 50, 50, and 50. Okay, so that puts us back at double zeros. If you didn't catch what I just did there, this is where I started over here and I said, okay, 1, 2, 3, but they went higher. So maybe it's in increments of 50. So 50, 50, and 50. That puts us back at double zeros. So 3 levels of rise, and now we have a peak formation that has just been made at the high of the day. Again, I really don't know what's going to happen, and I never do, but I do know that we have peak formation at, what is that? Man, I got all these lines up here. I think that's 50, excuse me. So 50, and then now we have peak formation at double zeros, and we're 75. So we're basically trading in between that. If you're trying to find a 3 session or some kind of session template on day 3, that could be the information that you need to know. Oh, what have I just clicked? That's not what I wanted. There we go. All right, let's take a look at oil. Okay, so again, 3-day template. First green day, day 1, 3-day cycle, day 1 of breakouts on Monday. That is day 2 of the cycle. Day 3 of the cycle blows off in the direction of the trend, giving us day 2 of breakouts as well. They closed up high. This is day 1, 3-day cycle at the close. So after this peak formation high was created and they closed down low, that gives us day 1. Today is day 2 of the 3-day cycle. And this is also a first red day. We're at the high of the week. They put in a peak formation high. They closed below the open, and then they went back into consolidation. So I have my end of day consolidation up here. Lower low in the London session. They've pulled back, and now I don't know if they're going to go lower. I genuinely have no idea. I do know that we have that news today for oil inventories at 10:30. So that'll be interesting to see, kind of what happens with that. Now, I did put up here my consideration because most of you probably know that just because this is a first red day template, I always like to kind of step back and look and see, yeah, it's a first red day. Don't take it at face value. What else could be going on? So I put up here, make sure this is not a breakout pullback template because breakouts, we're in breakout mode. We've triggered previous week's high. That's great. We didn't break out of previous week's high and close, so that could be something. But we do have the opening range high. We have this opening range breakout, pullback. I want to make sure that the opening range hopefully is going to fail and this first red day will actually play out. Maybe we'll get this move, back down towards the low of the week. That would be a good pump and dump template. Day 1, day 2, day 3. Day 1, 3-day cycle. Wednesday resets. First red day. Day 1, day 2. Day 3. So I have no idea. We'll see. I didn't do my due diligence. I just asked yesterday. You know what? I'll do it right here on stream. Someone told me yesterday in the stream that the news had shifted over to today. Boz, if you want to go check Forex Factory in the the energy section. I think it's 11 is what they said. 10:30 or 11. Anyways, so I'm actually going to remove this because there we go. We're going to remove that. This was a good short squeeze at whatever time that was this morning. 6:45, new hour, 7. Didn't explode, didn't eventuate. So this gives us more information going into today, into the session. I like this template, though. This is trading very clean. Not exactly as excited about this, but we'll see. I'm really not excited about this. There's a lot more that needs to happen. Gold, we'll see. Really not excited, but I feel like oil is trading very clean this week. The price movements, the template is looking very nice. US dollar CAD. All right, starting at the beginning of the week. Blow off move in or on Monday. Opening range. Breakout of Friday's low. Close. Day one breakouts. Day two of the week. And we get a breakout that fails, giving us first green day. That is day one of the cycle. First green day. Also a breakout that closes. You know, they broke out. It failed. Closed back on the inside. So day one of the cycle. Peak formation day. Day two of the cycle was a good first green day trade that is broke out and closed as day one of breakouts to the upside. Day two of the cycle. Now we have day three of the cycle. And on day three of the cycle, this is a pump and dump setup. They lower low on day three, pumped it back up, peak formation high, and they made a lower low. So if this would have happened at a certain time of day, you know, if they broke down gap time, maybe, London, and then pumped it back up like this in the New York session, this would have been a good New York session trade for the pump and dump. Lower low on day three, pumps back up into peak formation high, and then the continuation back down. So I don't know if this is going to continue to turn into a setup or anything like that for, you know, the long continuation or what. Certainly we'll see. Baza, no, I really haven't been, because now that I trade futures, things, you know, the futures, the volatility, not necessarily the volatility, but the, what am I trying to say? The volume traded on those pairs, like just looking at them, it's kind of rough. So the ones that I have up here are the ones that, you know, I could probably still trade with futures and still maintain effectiveness. Anyways, let's take a look. I'm going to go to the pound now. Let's see here. Okay, pound. And all right, so I maintained my notes up here. This was 3 weeks of breakouts, so just letting me know, hey, we're up high. Oh gosh, I need to move this back. What am I doing? There we go. Okay, so Monday, day one of breakouts to the upside. We broke out a previous week's high, and then we continued that move on Tuesday. They extended the high to the upside, and then that breakout failed and closed back down on the inside. That gives us day one of the 3-day cycle. This was also a first red day. Peak formation day. They closed back down low. Now on Wednesday, there is the first red day trade back down through the low of the week, as well as also down. Basically, Friday's high has now failed. Awesome. Let's see here. That's also day one of breakouts, and I have my 3 levels marked because of the 100 pip box. So beginning of this week, we're starting back from Friday. We started at this level, 100 pip box. We went back up to the high of the 100 pip box, put in a peak formation high, broke back down. And now we're back down at the bottom of the box. So day one of breakouts, you know, they broke out, pulled back on the inside. Again, trading setups wise, day one breakouts, typically, you know, you want to find 3 levels of rise, something like that for the continuation, or if that doesn't set up properly, then it's day 3 of the cycle. We'll just take a look and see. But again, not really super excited for that. Really not excited for either of these. Euro is fairly similar. Inside day on Friday. Day one of breakouts on Monday. Similar pattern where they've gone up, broke down, first red day on Tuesday. First red day trade on Wednesday, giving us the first day of breakouts to the downside. And now, again, day 3 of the cycle. And we have pumped it back up. So I'm just going to be watching the high of the day, see what kind of pattern forms. You can kind of see the little 3 push pattern here, but it's quite early in the morning. Same thing with the pound. A little 3 push pattern back to the high. But we will see. All right. So let's get the screen set up here. No stress, no really anything. Particularly not super fond of the US 30, but I think I'll probably just keep it up there anyways. You know. Oil with that news later today, it doesn't really make me too excited, but I'm going to put this, I'm going to get rid of this. There we go. Gonna stay patient as possible, and we will see. Gold seems to have a slightly higher high. Gap time 1, 2, 3 down. All right, I'll be very curious to see how this news behaves at 8:30. Let's get rid of that. Hey, so NASDAQ's top left, US 30 is top right, oil is bottom left, and then gold is bottom right. And I need to get my other screen up there so I can place a trade if I need to. Let's see. Anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns about anything? Oh, probably should spell that right. Hey, TR, so normally I would include last week because if you get a day of breakouts, from Friday, sometimes it'll carry into Friday, Monday, Tuesday type of thing. But in US 30's case, I've restarted it just because. Oh gosh, hold on, wrong thing. Just because this week alone, I mean, we've got 3 pushes outside of the opening range, right? So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday going down, and we're down 2,000 pips from the high of last week, which is a insane move. Which is, I mean, it's awesome, but I've just restarted it for this week because there's no point in putting day 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of breakouts when I can just kind of simplify it for myself. Ooh, let's get a little caffeine going. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay. There's a reason, I can't remember why, but I need to put the CAD features back up there. Let's see. I feel like the CAD futures was probably one of those ones that was maybe lightly traded, and that's why I couldn't do anything with it. Yes, it is. Man, that looks like doo-doo. All right. Very well. Yeah, I'm very curious to see what this news. Actually, what is this news? Isn't it like growth? Yeah. Hey, Kel. Good to have you here. I'm gonna get rid of some of these 100 pip boxes just because they are blinding me a little bit. I really want to focus on not necessarily the candles, but just the consolidations and things. And these 100 pip boxes are freaking me out. There we go. Okay, we've got 4 minutes to the news. JP, good to have you here. Paulie, yes. You have a video of people being trapped. It's in the playlist. I think I named it Market Maker Traps or something like that. Okay, so the levels that we're watching, NASDAQ peak formation low at the low of the day. They've moved up, but most importantly, the fact that we have day one. Put this over here. Day one of breakouts. It's day 3 of the cycle. I'm watching previous day's high or low. Excuse me. Holy cow! I'm watching this level. I'm watching oil for sure, but thinking about 3-day templates, first red day. If this day turns into a consolidation day or a pause, might get that trade tomorrow. Or, of course, like I said, this could be a breakout pullback. We'll see. But as of right now, I'm still going to roll with the first red day. But first red day, remember, whenever you get a signal or something like that, for me, it's just an opportunity to look for the best template. So if it's a first red day, I still want to be selling the high of the session, high of the day, X, Y, and Z. So there's certain extra criteria, if you will, of how that template, I really want it to set up in order for me to classify it as a best trade opportunity. Even though there's a signal or whatever, I'm not just looking to trade it. I really want to trade it from my location that I prefer to see, the perfect template, if you will. And that's going to probably be different for everybody as far as what would you consider a perfect first red or first green day. But, first red day for me, I really like to see those templates when they first red day and then Asia, London, New York pull back and then explode down. There are, of course, other ways that the market will complete the pattern. But what would cancel out the first red? Well, that's the other piece that I've got up here, the opening range high. Typically, I will invalidate a first red day number one timing. Like if we're getting towards the end of the session and they're just working down at the low of the day, like obviously I'm not going to just trade it short because, whatever. But if, for example, this were to consolidate and break out, even if it breaks out to the upside, that would be fine. But I'm just going to I would have to wait for a consolidation and for it to break back down, which means, timing wise, if all of these things happen and it's getting close to 11, they broke out and they just keep on breaking out to the upside. I'm not going to sit here and wait for it to get all the way back, all the way up here. I'm just going to be done and I'll come back tomorrow and see. But typically, if they break out of previous day's high or something like that after a first red day, I'm not going to be watching it. And that's typically on certain templates. All right, NASDAQ, first 1 minute bar has engulfed strongly to the upside, which is fine. Okay, so that's the news candle on oil. Really no reaction at all. Or at least not much. In general, I try not to take any trades before 9:30. Yes, and again, that's personal preference. I don't think that's necessarily the rule. My own personal preference, though, is just to wait for 9:30, 10 o'clock, and that's based off my own results. Whenever I try to take trades in the first hour, a lot of times I tend to get chopped up. That's honestly, that's probably my own fault. I own that. But you know what I do know for a fact is that whenever I wait patiently for 9:30, 10 o'clock, either I avoid a loss altogether because I've identified that hour one did this, hour two did this, and there's just no trade on the third hour, and that allows me to just have a no trade day. And that's good because I've effectively looked at the market and said, hey, this is my time to trade, and there was nothing for me, and I can go about my day. Compared to, hey, hour one was trapping people. I would have been in the trap because of whatever. Hour two did this. 9:30 opens up, and now I can participate in the trade setup, having seen people being punished or the template having developed through the first, second, and coming into the third hour. Gazo, we're day 3 breakouts for the week. 3 pushes outside of the opening range. We're 2,000 pips down, and I was reiterating that just because we're 2,000 pips down does not mean I'm looking for a reversal. I am not going to catch the knife. I would really like to wait for a higher high on the inside if that were to present, or looking for pumps and dumps, which right now I guess we could consider this lower low, higher high, and 3 pushes back down into the low. Maybe a peak formation being put in place. This does kind of look short squeeze like, but it is not 9:30, and therefore I'm not going to be taking this. Even if this engulfs like this, I'm probably just going to hold out. Hey, Shaky, good morning. And you know what? All of the trades that I quote unquote miss by not trading the first hour, it evens out, because all the trades that I would have taken in the first hour and got chopped up and things like that, I'd rather just wait. And that's all going to be up to your own personal preference. But I like to trade with some degree of certainty, and if I know that there's no trade in the first hour that I should have taken, it might be coming in the second or third, and it makes me feel a lot better. Yeah, exactly, TR. Exactly. At earliest, I like to wait until after 9:30. I like to see what 9:30 does, and I might get an entry at 9:30, or it might come at, coming into the end of an hour, 45 minutes into an hour, something like that. But usually 9:30 to 10:30 is my sweet spot, and then after 10:30, it seems like I'm kind of, I'm not going to say guessing, but just trying to get a trade, and that makes me uneasy, and I will usually end my day around 10:30, unless there is a larger template, larger trade setup coming in at the end of the third hour. So coming into the fourth hour, there are some times where a 3-day, 3-session template, and it starts to complete the pattern in that fourth hour. But that's far and few between, and it needs to be a very special occurrence for me to be willing to do that. This does look fairly clean as far as the what we kind of talked about earlier about the higher high and then the way that it's dropped down, creeper into the consolidation. That is a peak formation engulfment. 8:30 news was the completion of the pattern, the explosive move up. Again, is that a trading setup? I would say yes. Am I going to take it? No. Hey, so the charts, they work the best with my indicators, Jai. So I've been using these just to do my charting, and then on my other screen I've got my futures watch list up and ready to go. Especially like the 100 pip box and things like that. Um, it's just because I came from trading forex and things like the. I'm very used to these 100 pip boxes like this, and this is what I like, you know. So the values are a bit different on futures contracts, and the prices are a bit different, things like that. So this just allows me to continue to do my analysis the same way that I've always done it, and then I just transferred over to my futures because the chart's still the same. You know, the candles look exactly the same. I think there's no other news on the calendar today, if I'm not mistaken. What the heck did I just type? There we go. Check the calendar. 30th. We're also coming into a new month, and tomorrow. Huh. So Forex Factory doesn't have this on there. Just has Euro, CPI, CAD, GDP, okay, US dollar. Okay, so yeah, 8:30 tomorrow US dollar. Tomorrow. And then today there's home sales at 10. Yeah, okay, good. Always got to check that Forex Factory because I tell you what, there's always some hidden movement that TradingView does not put on their calendar for whatever reason. Or I think that TradingView will downgrade it and say it's orange news or whatever, and then I don't have it, set to do that. So you'll be quite surprised when you're in a trade and all of a sudden it does something that you didn't expect. So I always like to double check. All right, we got what is that? About 18 minutes to the next hour. Watching those 15-minute bar rotations, hourly rotations. We got a couple minutes to the new 15-minute bar. Let's check. See. Yeah, I don't know anything about that, Zeal, to be honest. Um, I have a strong idea or strong feeling they probably trade different. I think I looked at pound in yesterday and I was. Let me take a look on my other screen here. See, 3 days of breakouts to the upside. 1, 2, 3. Yesterday broke down and was a first red day. There's a good first red day trade in Asia and London. But as far as continuation in New York, I have no idea. Today's day 2 of the cycle, and this could be the first day of breakouts to the downside, depending on how today closes. That's all I know. We broke down outside of the opening range low on pound yen, and we've hit the high or the low of Friday as well. They've been getting me all week long with, and a lot of last week as well with the news schedule, and things are moving either early in the day in the morning before 9:30 or afternoon session trades, and when that happens, those are those weeks where I just really don't take trades, and that's cool. I am good with that. UJ. Let's see. Let's take a look at natural gas. Okay. And okay. There goes oil. Gold level 3 looking for high of day sells, maybe. Or day one of breakouts to the downside. We're also at the low of the week. We've triggered previous week's low. And we pumped it back up. $50, $50, and $50. They've gone basically a 50 pip extension of that, so I might have just calculated wrong. That's fine. But I would need a peak formation at high to be put in place at the high of the day for that to happen, or for that to be valid, which I do not have right now. All they've been doing is making higher highs and higher lows today. Hey, Moody, so, I mean, you could say that, I guess, but personally, it was the first red day, and they're breaking down. They're continuing to break down. So, take that for what it is. Not to say that it can't reverse. I'm not here to, like I said, I'm not here to tell you what things are going to do by any means, but I can just give you the facts. It's first red day yesterday, and it's looking like the first red day template is playing out as of now. A lot of things would need to happen in order for me to say otherwise. Or right at the opening range high. But it still seems like it's breaking down through that, so I don't know. We got 6 minutes to the new hour. Mighty quiet out there. Hope you all are doing good. Or at least have some general idea of what you should be searching for today. Or what you're waiting for. For me, I'm just waiting for time. I'm waiting for time to expire and a pattern to form. Volume is trapped under previous day's close, maybe. On day 3. We do have a higher high, but we'll see. You can see the rectangle that they've kind of built here. But they've just been holding it up here. And it is a down moving market, so like I said, I don't want to catch that falling knife, but at 9:30 if something presents in a certain way, then maybe. Three minutes to the new hour. Australian, was it Australian Swiss? Let's see. Australian Swiss. Second day of breakouts to the downside. We broke out a previous week's low. Last week was... Okay. How many weeks of up is there? That's a good question to ask. 1 week of breakouts, 2 weeks of breakouts. Jamie. Hey, B, I appreciate that, and I'm glad that the content's helping. Good old YouTube University. You can learn anything on here. Love it. Campbell, you point out the 3-day cycle on. Gosh, Gazo, throw another word in there real quick. Three-day cycle on gold. Breakout day. Breakout on Tuesday. Breakout failed on Wednesday. Day 1, day 2. Today's day 3. I'll do it one more time. The high of week, Tuesday. There's the breakout right there. They closed outside of Monday's range. On Tuesday, they pulled back on the inside. Day 1, day 2, day 3. US 30 looks like it gave maybe a decent first bounce. Yeah, so day 3 in the 3-day cycle, day 2 in the weekly cycle, Fibro. Yes. Or a day 2 in the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday template, if that makes sense. I've been trying to do my best to color code. I said this yesterday, but I'm trying my best to color code and be very specific about which types of days I'm talking about. So 3DC, obviously, 3-day cycle. BO breakouts. If it's first red or first green, I'm just going to label that first red or first green. There's no point in me doing anything otherwise. I'm waiting for a peak formation to be put in place, Alwyn. They still haven't done that yet. And we do have day 1 breakouts in the market. So if this, for example, project that level across, I want to make sure that we don't have volume trapped down low on day 3 to keep me out of trying to short into. Basically, what I'm trying to say is day 1 of breakouts to the downside, sure. But if the breakout fails and we go back up, you got to be careful not to be shorting back into the low of the week, the failed breakout. Oh boy. US 30 is not at level 3 of fall. It's down 2,000 pips. But it is coming off of, multiple 3 weeks of rise. So part of the reason why I'm not exactly, astounded at going long. We'll see. Why did oil not make the third push before collapsing? There's a 1, 2, 3 right here and it collapsed. But they just keep on dropping it down and going back into consolidation. So I don't know. Like I said, it's first red day, sure, but news on the calendar and time of day and all those things, you know, I just don't feel it's not done what I want to see as far as the template goes. First red day pump up for the sell. I'm not getting a pump up for the sell. I'm just getting they keep going a little bit lower and a little bit lower and a little bit lower. And that's how when I get trapped because I try to trade like that, and that's a big no for me. So I avoid that. That's why a lot of these trades the last week that you see me not take because I've been saying I don't feel comfortable is because it's a trading setup, sure, but the way that it presented is not the way that I prefer to execute those trades. 3 pushes are a clue. It's a price action tip, if you will. A way of keeping you patient. But it's not a set in stone, hardened, objective way of looking at things by any means. All right, we got 23 minutes. NASDAQ is at closing price from yesterday. I think NASDAQ might be my best candidate right now. Of course, that could change in an instant, so we'll see. We will see. Let's get some prep work done. Okay, so peak formation low, 1, 2, 3. Peak formation low. The peak formation was made right here, 1, 2, 3. So this is supposed to be my level. They've done a 25 pip extension. High of day. Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is this entire week on NASDAQ is inside of last Thursday, and that's why I've got these out there. But so this could turn into an inside week. Oh, there goes oil. Cool. I'm not exactly chomping at the bit to take a trade on the indexes because of that inside range. Well, when I say inside range, NASDAQ particular. Obviously, oil is, or US 30 is doing whatever. It's got a mind of its own. It's in collapse mode. Oil might be a lost cause. That was a good first red day trade, but yeah, it's okay. Shaky. Shaky, what were you doing? You short on UJ? Is that what you said? Green box? Oh, that was the inside bar trader stops from Friday. Letting me know that they've been stopped out. Space. Good to have you. Let's see. Oh, good stuff, Shaky. Good stuff. Tickles the soul seeing y'all hit these trades. Good stuff. I mean, Space, I totally agree with you. I think they should also do the same, but something about fishing. Seem to do it in every stream. I don't really. It does help the stream though. So if you all want to be kind, you want to be courteous, and hit that little like button, I do appreciate it. Okay, gold just engulfed to the upside on a 5-minute chart. Has a peak formation at the breakout level. Peak formation at the breakout level. But I'm not. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna hold out. Still waiting for 9:30. And a trading setup to present, not just trading that movement. Because that's how you get punched. Right in the face. And I'm not really looking to get punched by gold today. I appreciate that, Andrew. Yeah, they engulfed. There's a 1, 2, 3 to the high. 3 levels of rise. 1, 2, maybe 3. It's what is it? A 3 bar engulfment or whatever. Bar closed lower. They engulf this back down to the downside. That'd be good. What's the EMA doing? I am watching this this breakout level. We got 1 day of breakouts. They broke down. Hit trigger previous day's low, pulled back on the inside, and now pulled back up into the breakout level. So this is either breakout pullback for the continuation of that breakout to the downside, or this is going to turn into a failed breakout. And that is my thought process, and I'm sticking to it. But I'm going to wait for 9:30 to make sure. And yeah, exactly. And it's trigger previous week's low as well, which I think I've got that down there, right? Yeah, that red line. Oh, goodbye, oil. We'll see you later. Make my gasoline cheaper, please. NASDAQ just keeps making higher highs, which is, that's cool. They want to breakouts. Three levels of rise from the low of the day. Yeah, TR, I wouldn't feel comfortable with that either, but again, I'm very particular about timings and things. I'm a stickler for time. Closing price, we're above that. We got 10 minutes. Well, I got to do my daily hydrated human being break. So I'll be 30 seconds right back. Okay, we got 9 minutes to the open. It could go up or it could go down. At least you can agree, GS. It's a fair assessment. That is a big head and shoulders up there. Just hanging out. Tis a big head and shoulders up there. US 30 is interesting. Leading us into the open. Yeah, that's the other thing is the news. I don't like taking trades before that. But I'm going to be waiting for that. Just see how 930 reacts and We'll see. What are they trying to get me to do prior to the open? That's the 4-hour high low as well. This one right here and this one right here. So we're in a 4-hour box of nonsense. There's a 4-hour high right there. Space waiting for the New York Open. Good stuff. We got 2 minutes. Oh, US 30 is dirty. Dirty, dirty. Let's skip these ads for you all. All right, I'm long US30. I've already taken partials. Now they just did a 1, 2, 3 to the 4-hour high. So this, I'm going to tell you the reason I took this. Number one, we're 2,000 pips down. Number two, we're 3 days of breakouts down. Number 4, we've got a higher high on the inside, dump, and a pump. They broke out of a consolidation. They dumped it back down in 3 pushes, 1 push, 2 push, 3 push. Broke back up to the upside, trapping shorts at the low. Down, up, down, pin hammer, engulfment, enter. I got the perfect entry. I waited and I've already taken some off. For that 25 pip rip. I took it back up to previous day's high. Now, I don't know if it's going to expand or continue to expand up through previous day's high. We've got volume trapped down low. But we 1, 2, 3 our way up through that 4-hour high. So, you know, being this close to the open, I'm more than happy to take that rip. And that is a trading setup, and it is a parabolic trading setup, obviously. Lots of opportunity to go back up, of course. So we'll see what happens here. And you can see the short squeeze pattern. That higher high, that breakout of consolidation, the higher low, the engulfment. 930 opens up with a pin hammer. Okay, NASDAQ's coming out of level 3. That 5-minute bar just closed. That's a lower low. Yeah, TR, that's not what I meant. I'm sorry. Previous day's low. My bad. NASDAQ just came out of level 3. 3 levels of, was that 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. Double zeros is the level. Yeah, I'm out of US30, by the way. Sorry, I probably should have said that. That was a decent little scalp. So the reason I was closing, and it's exactly what I said. 930 opens up 1, 2, 3 to the 4-hour high. New 5-minute bar opens and just, yeah. And we're in a down moving market, so it's might be setting up for later in the week. We'll see. Could be setting up for later in the day, for all I know. It could be, TR. It could be. We've got that news at 10. So I've taken one trade already. I'm going to refocus. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Let's take a look. You know, don't just jump right back in. Think. One little decent win. No reason to take another one though, unless there's an actual trade. So we'll see here. A little 1, 2, 3 of the high was back to the high of the day as well on US 30. NASDAQ V bottom reversal. Came out of consolidation, 1, 2, 3, engulfed at, was that 50? How about gold? What would the setup be? Yeah, gold, I'm not, it's just, what are you comfortable with? I've got that wedge there not because I'm trying to trade an ascending triangle. I've got it there to see if they trap people at the high of the day. Yeah, space. That's what I'm kind of thinking too. Maybe third hour. I think I'd be much more comfortable waiting for that. NASDAQ just made a lower low, but then they put in this V bottom reversal, so they need to pump it back up into level 3 and go back into consolidation without engulfing 930 to the upside. They also took out a 4-hour low at 930. So are we going to pump back up to the 4-hour high? I don't know. I'm waiting. I'm back into full-blown patience mode. We got a break in structure and 5 minutes back up on the NASDAQ. if I take the NASDAQ, it is going to be as a trend trade in the direction of the breakout from day one breakouts, day two breakouts, breakout pullback, 3 pushes to the high, 3 levels of rise, back to the low of the day. That would be the setup that I would be wanting to take or willing to take, of course, if it presents. Hey, Shaky, the one thing that I'm going to pay attention to on the NASDAQ is they went into consolidation. Now, of course, take this for what it is, right? Consolidation, spike the high, spike the low. Let's see how they react. New 15-minute bar is about to open. There's also, with the EMA nonsense, but they've run it down and then came back over the EMA in 3 pushes. Of course, that means really nothing at all. That's on a 15-minute chart. So we'll see here. I do want to say that I agree with you, Shaky, about the pump and the dump. That is not a recommendation, of course. Never is. But personally, what would I be looking for? I'd be looking for that to set up after the news. And that is going to be based off of day one breakouts. Especially if we stay underneath previous day's low, essentially taking it as a breakout pullback. Yanni, I agree. 110%. And I'm sitting here talking about this trade just to walk through my own thought process. Not as I'm going to take this trade by any means. And I don't think that's why you said that. But is there any reason I use black and white candles? Well, I moved away from red and green because I had read about the psychology of red and green. At some point in time, I had the black candles as blue candles. I don't know. I like the black and the white, I guess. It's appealing to my eyeballs. And I'm kind of a charting nerd. I'm very into the appearance of my chart and making it as professional looking as possible. Yeah, I don't remember where I saw it or read it, but I mean, it makes sense. We've been, since birth, green means go, green means up, green means whatever, and then red is, stop and down, or, there's psychology behind it that could be subconscious. And I don't, honestly, I have no idea, But I do know that if I look at red and green candles for too long, it hurts my eyes. And I have an astigmatism in both my eyes. It's pretty bad. So just looking at the computer screen in general, I have to keep the night light or the night mode on. What is it called? The night light or whatever. So it yellows my screen a bit. So I don't have to sit here and stare at that and strain my brain. Hey, so I don't actually have a Wanda. I don't know if that's what you're asking. A Wanda, the charts are very clean and it works well with the indicator. Forex.com works well with gold. That's the only reason I use them. The trade that I just took was on my funded account. Biggest candle on the entire chart is the one that reversed. I'm going to be very careful. Yep, top step. Moody, and I'm about to start doing the, I'm going to do the 150 soon. I'm ready to scale it up in size, if you will. That's one thing I really love about trading is if you get consistent and you can make money even with small size consistently, who's to say you can't do it with more size? You know, percentages are percentages. So I'm ready to go to the 150 and really start scaling the business more and more. How did the funded account go? What do you mean, Shaky? Like how did passing it go? Oh, no. It was a scalp. It was a scalp, Shaky. It was a 25, 50 pip rip, nail and bail. I took this one bar up right here. I'll show you on the 1 minute. I intended on this bar right here at 9:30. And I was out before the next 5-minute bar formed. Oh, am I still in the funded account? Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Stop on US 30, 1 bar stop. But if it would have reversed in any sort of way, I would have just closed. So here's the thought. Like if you've ever taken my, or if you have my beginner to winter boot camp, and I talk about where to put your stop, push 2, right? So if I have a push 2 down, I'm going to put my stop effectively below that, because that's where they're supposed to be trapping traders. If you look at the 1 minute chart, they pin down through it prior to engulfing. So they pinned down into push 2 traders that were short, and then engulfed to the upside. So they already stopped out anybody who was long, and then made the shorts hopeful, essentially. So I felt safe, just having stops down here. It was just a 1 contract scalp. It's not, I didn't load the boat or anything on it. I didn't even try to scale in. Just high probability, high conviction kind of trade scalp. Yep, shaky. I've got NASDAQ up on my other screen. I'm watching this consolidation. They've done a 15 minutes back up. EMA coil pin is the anchor. Unless it goes vertical to the upside, then, I'll just stuff a sock in my mouth. But that's my thoughts right now. But I got to wait for this news to play out. And if it goes vertical down through here on the news, I don't know how much space that's going to leave me, but it's going to remove a lot of my good feelings. No, OB, I always use market entries. On my first entry, I always use market. There's very few occasions where I'll use stop orders. I don't think I've ever used a limit order for anything. This thesis is gone, by the way. I don't know if anybody was sitting here still waiting for this to reverse, but I'm not anymore at all. Yes, NASDAQ, my target would be the low of the day. Or at least the level. Reason being, first day of breakouts to the downside, three weeks of breakouts to the upside. Day 1 of breakouts and 3 levels of rise. The low of the day is supposed to be the target. So Raj, take it one piece at a time. Learn one setup, understand the ins and outs of why it is a trade, why that is a setup, what characteristics built that trade. Find it on the chart and find 50 examples. Go to the next one. Build yourself a study binder. Build yourself a template binder so you can develop essentially the confidence to know exactly what you're looking for. Think of things as, I like to think of of course, my brain is my brain, but I like to think of things as math equations. Not that I'm good with math or anything like that, but A plus B equals C. So it's like A plus B are the variables that are building the equation, right? So A plus B equals this setup. So that's kind of how I think of like the lists and the characteristics of the trade. Day one breakouts, high of week, all those things, right? The things that build or go into the trade to tell me to look for certain things. And then once those signals are in place, what do I need to look for on the day? Oh, it's either going to be a sell high opportunity or it's going to be a buy low opportunity. That's it. And I know it's a lot easier said than done, but it's a good starting place. Okay, we got 2 minutes to this news. You got space. There's news at 10. Yep, and we're coming into Clark. That's a good point. We're coming into a new monthly cycle as well, so you got to be careful in these last couple days of the month, not to get slammed into consolidation. Really be sure what you're looking for, and at the beginning of next month, we're probably going to see some huge moves. So, saving your best trades for beginnings of months and things, you can honestly, at the beginning of months, you can take a trade and probably not need to take a trade for the next month if you get the right one. Like my little 25, 50 pip scalp that I just took is not a, wow, I'm not going to trade for a month kind of trade. It was just I'm going to add some dollar bills to my account real quick, and then we'll move on to the next. There's different kinds of day 1, 2, and 3. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Monday through Wednesday template, Wednesday through Friday template. 3-day templates of breakouts. Breakouts day 1, 2, and 3. That is a potential setting up for day 3 breakouts. Day 1 of breakouts is a trading opportunity. Or potential setup. Day 1, 2, and 3 of the 3-day cycle. Day 1 is peak formation day. Day 1 is peak formation day that could turn into a first red or a first green day at the high or low of the week. Sometimes that breakout will fail over the course of 2 days, but still be a peak formation day at the high or low of the week. So, for example, gosh, which pair was it? I think it was the NASDAQ. Yep. Okay, there's the 10 o'clock news. I'm watching it on my other screen, but I'm going to explain this. Okay, so peak formation at the high of the week. They broke out and closed, but then on the next day it failed. Day 1, day 2. So sometimes the 3-day cycle will reset over the course of 2 days, and you just have to be, kind of paying attention to that. Oh, you're already about to get some ads. I'm going to skip that for you, just in case something happens here. Okay, there's the news event. No reaction. That news candle pinned up and it pinned down. That 10-minute bar just created a range on the 1-minute chart on NASDAQ. Be very careful. Do not get caught up in movement and Michael, there was inside bar on Friday of last week, and they broke the high without hitting the low. So there were stops. If you traded the break out of an inside bar on a higher time frame, you put your stops down low. They still hadn't been stopped out yet, so I leave that level down there to see if they come back. Yep. Okay, so the news, they whipsawed both sides. And they started to go down. They hooked people in short, and they just ran it back up. Go off that little, whatever this is. There's the time. All right, here comes the drop. I'm up about 600 right now. I sold this 10 o'clock. I just failed to make a new lower low. Let's go. Let's see. Yep. There we go. Do one of these. Sold the 10 o'clock engulfment, the 1, 2, 3 up, the engulfment back down. Time. Yep, there's the 1, 2, 3 back up. This is the EMA, right? 1, 2, 3 up, engulfment, 15-minute chart, 45, 15-minute bar prior to the news under the EMA coil. After 10 o'clock, best fill, engulfment back down. 1, 2, 3 up, engulfment back down. Cool. Anybody else get that? Sorry, I got quiet there for a second. I was kind of focused on what I was doing, but good stuff, TR. I traded it back down into the low of the peak formation, or the peak formation low, excuse me. Yeah, I'm glad I got out too. Yeah, I really don't know if they could jam it back up. I was hoping I would have been more willing to stay in if this low, right? This is the anchor point for the pump and dump. If it would have blown through here and engulfed, ripped, very different price movement than if it would, it's pinning down through it. 5-minute charts pinning down through. Like, that's ideally wanting to see it explode down through the low. On the 1-minute chart, we got a peak formation at the low of the day that may have locked in the low, and they didn't explode down through it. I'm very happy to take 2 scalps for the day and just be done. So as far as trading setup goes, why was this a good opportunity? Let's talk about both US 30 and the NASDAQ real quick. NASDAQ, peak formation high, peak formation low, breakout of the opening range yesterday. Opening range breakout to the downside. Day one shorts in the market. Traded down. Obviously, they broke out a previous day's low, lower low, pumped it back up 1, 2, 3 to the high. Timing broke down, peak formation at the high of day. So now we have peak formation low, peak formation high. Broke down under the EMA. That's fine, whatever. Went sideways for 15 minutes. We had news at 10 o'clock. Needed to wait till after the news. 10 o'clock opened on this up candle, down candle, outside bar, doji, whatever the heck you want to call it. Got people shorting early. 1, 2, we'll call that 3 to the high. 1, 2, 3 to the high. Engulfment. The engulfment of that 1, 2, 3 to the high also engulfed 10 o'clock. So basically, if I bought the open of this candle for whatever reason, or maybe this candle here, I might now be trapped. And so it's basically just a breakout pullback, 3 levels of rise on the day. Peak formation at the low at, what was that, 25? So 1, 2, 3 puts us back up at double zeros. They did a 25 pip extension, put in a peak formation high, broke down. Anchor point, pumped up, sideways consolidation for the vertical move back down through the low. All right, so that's NASDAQ. We can talk about US 30 real quick. Reason I took the long on US 30, we have 2,000 pips of breakout to the downside, which is fine. Absolutely no reason for me to say, well, this is definitely going to reverse today, and obviously it hasn't. But what we did have is, I can't see anything that's going to happen to the right. All I can see is what's happened over here. We had a lower low, a higher high, a dump, a consolidation at the peak formation level. Breakout, pull back. 9:30 opened on the first bounce. So breakout, pullback, push 1, push 2, push 3, starts to ascend, pulls back up on the inside, down, up, down, pin hammer, engulfment, entry, and then exiting before the next 5-minute bar. So 2 little scalps today, nothing huge, nothing that I was willing to size into confidently that it was going to, explode in a large directional moves. But still, decent trades nonetheless. Good reads all around. Yep. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a good trading session. Those are my first trades of the week, actually. Going to do the same thing tomorrow, same time, 8 o'clock in the morning, because we have news tomorrow, I believe. Even if we don't, I'll just do 8 o'clock in the morning anyway, so we can get the analysis done and I don't feel rushed. You'll have a good rest of your day. Get out, enjoy the sun. I will see you all tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, ready to go, ready to trade. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.